I don't really honestly know what my kids think of me. I know they love me. I think they respect me. And I think they're proud of me. I know they don't want to do what I do. I know they don't question what I do. But they fight to be normal. They fight to understand what's going on. I have 2 children that are in college and then younger ones who don't understand yet. I can't relate to what it's like to be Marcus Luttrell or to be Michael reaching out and catching a baseball with your hat and not being bitter about everything, having the courage to even go over there. I can't. It's so far and above and beyond anything that I have experienced in my life, and most likely above and beyond what you would experience in your lifetime. But we are going to have to find the courage within us at our own level, because we are going to have to deal with people calling you a hate monger, a racist, pointing you out, surrounding you on the street, whatever. People calling you names. The New York Times did it, called anybody from the middle of the country a Neanderthal. I don't understand it. I'm not sure exactly what it will look like for you, but I know your time to need courage is coming. Just like I said last year, that your time for honor is coming, and it is. And those two are put together. You must be a man or a woman of honor and let your children see it. You must know what you believe and then have courage. The key is not being able to fight back. The key is how you deal with it. Do you deal with it with courage and dignity and honor? If I may, I'd like to give you a small, almost meaningless example in the grand scheme of things of what we will all go through. Last night, I decided to take my family out for a nice evening at the park here in New York City. There's this great park, and they show movies in the park, and people grab their picnic baskets, and they've been doing it for years. And they grab their picnic blankets, and people lay out in a beautiful night, and then they watch a movie, and the sun goes down. I have always wanted to do this. Ever since my daughter was about this tall, I wanted to do it. A couple of weeks ago, my daughter and I were walking by, now she's in her 20s, and we were walking by this park, and she saw that they were showing a Hitchcock film, one of my favorites, The 39 Steps. My daughter and I are both fans, and I have talked to her about doing this for a long time. So we decided to grab the family, grab a blanket, and we headed out to the park last night. She went out early, about the time this broadcast was going on the air last night. She grabbed a spot. I arrived around 7 o'clock. It didn't take long for the comments to begin. Now, I get it. I'm Glenn Beck. It's New York City. I'm used to getting comments. I didn't go into this one blindly. It comes with the territory. But not the territory for my children or for my wife. You would think that there would be some common decency, especially among the culturally superior here in New York. But it didn't take long for people to start whispering, pointing, and pretending they weren't taking pictures and texting and posting. It really felt as though it was closing in on my family. My wife said, "Do you want to go?" And I said, "Not on your life. I'm going to watch this movie with my daughter." It started to build, and the next thing you knew, people, this one woman, actually stood up and pointed her finger at the 4 of us and said, "We're in New York, and we hate Republicans." I wanted to tell her, so do I. We have so much in common. I didn't respond. She yelled at us, that actual comment. You'd think that I'm kidding, but I'm not. Now, this particular group of people behind us were obviously drinking. And I get that. I'm sure they're not usually that overt with their hatred, but boy, it was out in full colors. But here we were surrounded when my wife and daughter decided they had to get up and go to the bathroom. Now, this is, oh, geez, I don't know, halfway across the park. How did people even know halfway across the park? And that's when a man, as they came back and told me, with my daughter with tears in her eyes, that another man stood up and pointed at them and shouted, "We hate conservatives." Wasn't too much longer that the people that were sitting behind us accidentally spilled a alcoholic beverage all over our blanket, all over my wife's back. They laughed about it. I thought to myself, boy, Mom and Dad must be proud. The people all around us were taking pictures. These are the pictures that were posted online before the sun even went down, before the movie even started. You'll notice the courage that it took to take some of these shots of my family. They just didn't want anybody to notice that we were taking pictures. Why not? When the movie ended and we got up, I got up just a few minutes before it was over, and my wife and I started to walk out, and I left my daughter and her boyfriend there on the blanket. I regretted it as soon as I got up, because the crowd started to jeer and applaud that we were leaving. Again, I wanted to point out that that's what people do at the end of a movie, but maybe it's just me. I regretted it when I got up because I realized I was leaving my daughter grossly outnumbered. I can handle it, but I was shocked with the complete disregard of my family. When I got home, my daughter texted my wife to apologize. It was about midnight. I called her back up. She was embarrassed and saddened. She takes pride in New York and New Yorkers, as I do. She apologized and said, "Dad, I'm sorry. I didn't know it would turn out this way." And I told her it's not her fault.